Hare Krishna, welcome to all devotees. Now we start today's Bhagavatam class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiret Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhoti Naishtiki. Hare Krishna Dandat Pranam. Today we completing Srimad Bhagwatam chapter 17, description of the Varnashram system. Shloka number 51 to 58. Yadruchaya upannena shuklena uparjitena va dhanena apidayan vrityan nayena eva aharet akratun कुटुंबेषु न सज्जते न प्रमादयत् कुटुंबी अपि विपश्चेन नश्वरं पश्येत दृष्टम अपि दृष्टवत् पुत्रदारा आप्तबन्धूनां संगमः पान्थ संगमः अणुदेहं वियन्ति एते स्वप्नः निद्रा अनुगयता एथं परिमृशन् मुक्तः गृहेषु अतिथिवत् वसन् न गुहे अनुबद्धे निर्मम निरंकृत कर्म भीगो मेधि ये इष्ट्वा माम एव भक्तिमान तिष्ठेत वन वा उपविशेत प्रजावान वा परिव्रजेत. Next.
यह तवासक्तमति गेहे पुत्र
No, the screen is not a
पुत्र वित्तेशनातुरः त्रयणः कृपणधीरमूढो मम
पुत्र वित्तेशन आतुरः श्रेण कृपणधीमूढः मम अहम इति बध्यते अहो मे पितरौ वृद्धौ भार्या बाल आत्मजा आत्मजाः अनाथा मां ऋते दीनः कथं जीवन्ति दुःखिताः एवं गो आशय क्षिप्त हृदयः मूढधी अयम् अतृप्तः तान् अनुध्यायन् मृतः अंधं विशते तमो. ट्रांसलेशन एंड परपेट विद श्रीला प्रभुपाद. जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. Next.
A householder should comfortably
maintain his dependents either with money that comes of its own accord or with that gathered by honest execution of one's duties. According to one's means, one should perform sacrifices and other religious ceremonies. A householder taking care of many dependent family members should not become materially attached to them, nor should he become mentally unbalanced, considering himself to be the Lord. An intelligent householder should see that all possible future happiness, just like that which he has already experienced, is temporary. The association of children, wife, relatives, and friends is just like the brief meeting of travelers. With each change of body, one is separated from all such associates, just as one loses the objects one possesses in a dream when the dream is over. Deeply considering the actual situation, a liberated soul should live at home just like a guest, without any sense of proprietorship or false ego. In this way, he will not be bound or entangled by domestic affairs. A householder devotee who worship me by execution of his family duties may remain at home, go to a holy place, or if he is a responsible son, take sannyasa. But a householder whose mind is attached to his home and who is thus disturbed by ardent desires to enjoy his money and children, who is lusty after women, who is possessed of a miserly mentality and who unintelligently thinks everything is mine and I am everything, is certainly bound in illusion. Oh, my poor elderly parents and my wife with a mere infant in her arms, and my mother, young children. Without me, they have absolutely no one to protect them and will suffer unbearably. How can my poor relatives possibly live without me? Thus, because of his foolish mentality, a householder whose heart is overwhelmed by family attachment is never satisfied. Constantly meditating on his relatives, he dies and enters into the darkness of ignorance. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord here describes the religious duties that are to be performed as far as possible, according to one's means, and when there is opportunity. A family man often acts like a lord, protecting his wife, ordering his children, maintaining servants, grandchildren, domestic animals, and so forth. The word na pramaddet kutumbi api indicate that although one acts like a little lord, surrounded by his family, servants, and friends, one should not, through false pride, become mentally unbalanced, considering oneself to be the actual lord. The word vipashchit indicates that one should remain sober and intelligent, never forgetting oneself to be the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. Householders of the upper, middle, and lower classes become attached to different types of sense gratification in any economic or social class. However, one should remember that all material enjoyment, either here or in the next life, is temporary and ultimately useless. A responsible householder should guide his family members and other dependents back home, back to Godhead, for an eternal life of bliss and knowledge. One should not become a false and puffed up Lord for a brief span of time, for one will remain bound up along with his family members in the cycle of repeated birth and death. Pantha, Sangam indicate the momentary association of travelers. All hotels, restaurants, tourist spots are in more traditional cultures. Fresh water, walking paths. We are now associated with many relatives, friends, and well-wishers. But as soon as we change our material body, we will immediately be separated from all all these associates. Just as upon awakening, we are immediately separated from the imaginary situation of a dream. One becomes attached to the sense gratification of one's dream. And similarly, under the spell of the illusory concepts of I and mine, we become attached to so-called relatives and friends who gratify our sense of false ego. Unfortunately, such fleeting egoistic association covers our real knowledge of the self and the supreme, and we remain hovering in material illusion, futilely endeavoring for permanent sense gratification. One who remains attached to the bodily concept of family and friends cannot possibly give up the false egoism and I and mine and I am everything and everything is mine. Without giving up material sense gratification, we cannot become steady on the transcendental a platform of devotional service, and therefore we cannot relish the actual flavor of eternal happiness unless one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, accepting Lord Krishna as one's only friend. One cannot give up the hankering for temporary and superficial material relationship. A traveler far away from his home and loved ones may strike up superficial conversation with other travelers, but such relationships have no ultimate meaning. One should therefore revive one's lost relationship with Lord Krishna. We are constitutionally part and parcel of Lord Krishna, who is the reservoir of all spiritual pleasure, and our original relationship with him is full of love and happiness. But because of our desire to enjoy independently from him, we fall down into the confusing, meaningless network of material relationships created by Maya. An intelligent person realizes there is no actual pleasure or satisfaction for the soul on either this planet or any other material planet. Therefore, like a weary traveler, exhausted from his journey, he should go back home, back to Godhead for eternal peace as the faithful servant of the Sri Krishna. Without giving up material sense gratification, we cannot. Next, one situated in family life, the only requirement is that one should take up a serious program of Krishna Sankirtan, which includes constant chanting of the holy names of the Lord, worshipping of the deity, and participation in the Krishna consciousness movement. Without a serious program of Krishna Sankirtan, it is very difficult to give up the iron shackles of attachment to women and byproduct of such attachment. Next. This was described three alternatives for a householder. He may continue at home.
He may continue at home, or he may take Vanaprastha, which involves going to a sacred place with one's life. Or
In
if he
all
has
three
responsibility.
ashramas, what happened? Ultimate success depends on sincere surrender to the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the most important qualification one can have is Krishna consciousness. We don't disturb. Although one may try by various analytical or psychological processes to detach the mind from illusory family attachment, one will inevitably be drawn back into the network of material attachment unless the heart is purified by Krishna consciousness. A miserly householder thinks only of his own family or community without mercy for outsiders. Being egoistic, lusty, attached, and always disturbed by ardent desires to enjoy money and children. A materialistic householder is hopelessly bound in a web of anxiety. Andham Vishate Tamha indicates that in his next life, an attached householder will certainly be degraded because of his primitive mentality of bodily attachment, which is called Muda Dhi. In other words, after enjoying the sense gratification of considering oneself the center of everything, one enters into a lower species of life. Somehow or other, we must fix our minds on Lord Krishna and come out of the darkness of ignorance to our real life in Krishna consciousness. Thus end the purport of the humble servants of his divine grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 11th canto, 17th chapter of the Srimad Bhagwatam entitled Lord Krishna's description of the Varnashram system. Now prayer. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuttapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sahadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhecha Krupa Sindhubhe Evacha Patita Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Dandat Pranam. This chapter's name is Description of the Varnashram System. So in this canto of 11, chapter 17, Description of the Varnashram System, they're describing about the Varnashram system, how we follow the Varnashram system, what is the duty of the Vaishyas, Shudras, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Grihastha, Sannyasi, Vanaprastha, and Brahmachari. All devotees, what their duties? Firstly, know nicely. And when we take the shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then our aim will be completed and we reach the abode of the Krishna nicely. There were coming so many obstacles in our daily routine or daily sadhana, but neglecting all this, we will only go ahead. And this is also told Srila Prabhupada to his disciples. They only giving them enthusiasm, and due to the fully determined to do the seva of the Prabhupada. So many obstacles maybe come in their life, but they not give up to do the seva of the Prabhupada. And because of their effort, endeavor, or their effort, now today we are easily doing the devotion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we live from 4:30 p.m. Our sadhana will become Mangal Arti, then Shungar Arti, chanting Shungar Arti, then Bhagavatam class. Like that, so many festivals we celebrate due to Prabhupada's and their disciples' endeavor. If they are not doing or done like this, where we are now, it's most important question for us. And please remembering every moment where we will be. If Krishna conscious means ISKCON is nothing, or Prabhupada one bhajan is there. Yadi Prabhupada na hoite is very most popular bhajan. So we remembering and we doing. If so many obstacles come, but we neglect there and go ahead. Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhecha kripa sindhubhe evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo namah. Prabhuji will tell you in detail. And I request you, if you want this 11 canto, word to word, shlok, meaning and line to line, again reading in smooth and peacefully. We read on not on this channel, but alag group we will making, and that your how you has time, your timing adjusting. We read 11 canto again. That this canto and what is the told Lord Krishna to the Uddhava, we can understand easily. Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhecha kripa sindhubhe evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. So this is a very wonderful request which has come from Mataji, that we should be studying this particular chapter in detail. So that's very well found, and Mataji has already responded that we will continue it as a reading session every day afternoon at 4 p.m. So I'll share the details of the link in the chat box. So I'll just add a couple of sentences more to what Mataji has said, because she has almost covered most of the points in this chapter. And we all know how this Varnashrama system has come from Krishna. And whatever is being mentioned here is just to enable us, our passage back home, back to Godhead. So if you are able to execute this appropriately under the order of a spiritual master, then nothing can stop us from going back home, back to Godhead. And one of the most important criteria which comes up here in towards the penultimate shloka is, for those who have gone for Vanaprastha, they are still not allowed to take to the renounced order of sannyasa. They can do it only if they have a grown-up son who has taken up the responsibilities of the house, the household matters, and the women folk behind. So that is something which needs to be followed. And that is what Srila Prabhupada had been teaching us. So though he had created the brahmachari ashramas, he never had the brahmacharini ashramas. He took them under the care, and he ensured that they get married to suitable devotees and they enter Grihastha ashrama. And together both of them live a life with Krishna at the center of the activities. And that is how the community has to develop. And then only everyone can successfully go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. I welcome everyone who have joined us for the chanting session.